Going through the fight recently, and when I watched the fight, and obviously, Bivol got the decision, but I kind of want to go run through the fight with you real quick, if possible, if you don't mind. So when I was watching the fight, I felt like it was kind of very similar to the first fight. I feel like Arthur was putting the pressure on him, and at one point in the fight, I think this was the seventh round. I heard you. You came to the corner. This was in the seventh round. You jumped in and you said something that stood out to me during the fight. And basically what you said was, Arthur, you're allowing him to gain his confidence. I remember this verbatim. You looked at this is exactly what you said to him. And that round, that was his best round. That was kind of the return round. I felt like at that point, I felt like you were 100% right. I felt like Bivol gained a new confidence. What were you seeing in that fight that maybe was different than the first that you came out and stated that?
Well, we started quicker, which was, by design. I thought we did very well. I thought going into the seventh round, I was very comfortable. Like being there ringside, seeing it from where I was sitting, I was super happy with the way things were going. Arthur, I thought the game plan was working. I thought everything was good. I think it was the seventh round, maybe the eighth, but I think it was the seventh, where I felt like Arthur took the round off, to catch his breath and, get situated. But Bivol ran with it. He took advantage of it. And I remember saying to Arthur in the corner, don't let this guy back in. Like you're letting him back in. We got to keep him out. Keep him where you had him. And I just felt like, Bivol was turning the tide a little bit. But with that being said, I do remember when the fight was over. I don't really score the fight round by round. I just go by what I feel at that moment. When the fight was over, I felt really confident. Like I really thought we were going to get the decision based on my view from where I was sitting at ringside, in the corner.
Yeah.
I really thought we were going to get it. But that was a turning point, and Arthur picked it up like he was supposed to. But that's what I meant too. I told him, just don't let this guy back in. You can't let this happen.
Another thing, you bring up a good point about starting faster, right?
Yeah.
I noticed, I might have been like the third round, but he was he looked like he was breathing a lot heavier this time. And I was kind of surprised, and a lot of people were saying, oh, has his age caught up with him or not? And I just found it really, I was like, oh man, he's really, okay, he's taking deeper breaths over here. And of course, you said it was by design. You wanted to start faster. Why did you feel like you had to start faster? And did you notice Arthur breathing a little bit heavier in the earlier rounds?
Well, we just felt like based on the first fight that we could have had a much more emphatic win if we had started quicker. Like we finished, obviously we finished very, very strong, but we made it close because the first half of the fight, we started slow and we took our time. And Arthur's generally a guy who takes his time. So we just felt like if we could start a little quicker, and Arthur started quick from the first round.
Yeah,
first and second. We were thinking maybe third or fourth. But he hit the gas early. That was obviously definitely by design. We wanted to get a quicker start and have a more emphatic win.
Now, going through the fight, I mean, I thought Arthur won the fight. I thought he did what he needed to. I felt like, and this is no disrespect to Bivol, I felt like part of his strategy was during the last 20 seconds of the round to kind of throw some flurries and steal the round. And I think that was something that I think the judges granted him. Like there was a couple rounds where I'm like, Arthur's dominating this round, and Bivol will just throw some flurries at the end, and I see people like, oh no, he took the round. I'm like, no, I mean Arthur literally took 2 minutes and 30 seconds of that round, and he just kind of threw a flurry, and a lot of it was glove, and they gave it to him. And I really feel like that affected the judges' decision. That's just how I felt personally. How did you feel about that?
Well, you know, that's an old trick. Like I learned that when I was my first month in the gym. Like they would tell us, you know, finish the last 20 seconds. You know, that's every gym in the world knows they have a code. Like you know, you have a code word, and that means there's 30 seconds left in a round. And you know, and theoretically, like people say, Sugar Ray Leonard, that's how he beat Hagler. Like you know, the last 30 seconds of every round he flurried, but you know, it's kind of silly to me. You know, like the idea behind it is you want that to be the last image that the judges remember. You know, that you want to finish on, you know, where they remember the last thing was you throwing a bunch of punches. But you can't discount the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds of a professional round. That's just insanity, you
Yeah.
know. So I'm not, you know, as an amateur, I was a fan of that. Like, oh, let's you know, because that's what I was told to do. Let's finish strong. Let's flurry. Let's shoe shine. But you know, the round is 3 minutes. It's not 30 seconds.
And that's the thing with judging and boxing, that it's really subjective. It's really what that what they feel. But and I'm not big on conspiracy theories, right? But I felt weird about that decision, and even watching Arthur speak after the fight, he said a couple things that stuck out to me. And one was he never wanted to do the rematch. He felt as if he won and they didn't deserve a rematch. And, I heard Bivol, he came out and said, I want to take some time off. Like literally acknowledging the punishment that he's received within a 4-month span, right? And,
Right.
Arthur said, you know what, now that I've lost whatever, and you could tell he was bothered, but he said, you know what, I want an immediate rematch. But in the days to come, I think it was a WBA or WBC, I'm not exactly sure, ordered a matchup with Benavidez, which I was very weird about. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Why is it that Arthur isn't getting the immediate rematch? And I felt as if, I don't want to say foul play, but I don't think it was fair to Arthur to not get the first option for the fight. How did you feel when you guys actually heard about them mandating Benavidez for the title?
Yeah, you know, I wasn't surprised. You know, it seems like they're always doing something. You know, right after the fight, they're trying to, you know, impart their power. You know, they're going to show this is what we're going to do. But I think, in reality, you know, you're going to find out. That the big fights have to happen, and I would say the promoters have a lot more input than the sanctioning bodies may want to really admit. By theory, the way it's supposed to be is the sanctioning bodies would dictate. They would say, okay, this is the next guy in line, and he's next. But we all know that just doesn't happen that way, especially when there's big fights to be made. I would think, out of respect and just the way things go, they'll work something out with Benavidez in the back room. They'll say, listen, we know you want the fight, but look, these guys got to fight the third time. You can't interfere with this fight. You got to let this fight happen. You'll get the winner after. And, and I think boxing fans would be more than happy with that.
No, absolutely. Listen, and again, we all know that they are trying to push Benavidez. He's a young guy trying to come up. I get it. But I kind of felt the way about it, John. You're my guy. Like, I really hold you at a high regard. I love talking to you. I've become a big fan of you and anybody you support and train with. So I take kind of personal. Like, I'm like, man, I think that's wrong. Like, I'm like, Arthur was kind of, I don't want to say forced, but his words were he didn't think it should have been a second fight. And you kind of made it to the fact that he took it, and they took the fight from him, he lost or whatnot. He should have had, it should have been automatic to me, a third fight. So I was kind of like, man, I really don't like the way they approached it. And, I'm seeing a lot of that in boxing today. And it's more so if somebody's more in a position of power or whatnot, or they feel like he's valued more in regards to the sanctioning bodies, that they're going to do more for him. And I felt as if, I was bothered by that, to be honest. But having said that, clearly you guys want an immediate rematch, correct?
Yeah, at this point, Arthur's 40, we're looking for the rematch, obviously. And I think after his career, he deserves it. And like I said, I would have to think Benavidez, his people would understand. He said, "Look, man, you can't interfere with this. You're a young guy. You're gonna have your day, and it'll be bigger for you to fight the winner of the, whoever wins the trilogy."
Yeah.